from the Hollydale Ice Arena in Sewell, New Jersey. It's our second of 10 games with the Gloucester Catholic Rams. As tonight, we get a parochial matchup from North and South Jersey as the St. Peter's Prep Marauders face off against the GC Rams on this Tuesday. Check that Wednesday afternoon. I'm Dan Wilkins. I'm joined by Chase Parson on the call today. And Chase, well, one of the things that's going to be interesting for today is this is a matchup that has been in GC's favor over the years. Gloucester Catholic has won the last 5 head-to-head matchups against the Marauders. But I'll tell you this, Gloucester Catholic's going to need a big rebound after losing last week in a heartbreaker to Princeton Day.
Exactly. This program's last victory was against this St. Peter's Prep's team all the way back in February of this year. They have not won a game since. They went 3-9 last season. Wasn't the best season last season for St. Peter's Prep either. But again, that heartbreaking 7-5 comeback win for Princeton Day definitely leaves a bitter taste in your mouth if you're a Gloucester Catholic Ram. Really dominant performance on offense and defense. Just a third period breakdown at the end there. So definitely a big rebound game, and this is a big opportunity for the Rams to showcase that comeback ability.
Well, last week, just flashing back real quick, I mean, that Princeton Day game was one that Gloucester Catholic should have won easily. Even though they lost to Princeton Day in their last head-to-head, they were up 4-1 in the third period. They had a massive Michigan goal that should have put the game away, but Princeton Day scored 6 goals at 8 minutes in the third period, including a hat trick in that time by, I can't remember the kid's name, but it was just a fantastic performance by the Panthers to come back in that game. And also, Richie Geiser got hurt in the third period. He had to leave midway through the game, and that just put everything out of control for Gloucester Catholic. And now that they come into this game at 0-1, so does St. Peter's Prep. They lost to Notre Dame, Connecticut 3-2 on Tuesday. So both teams are coming off of several days off. Meanwhile, Gloucester Catholic is going into a long stretch where they've got back-to-back games this week. St. Peter's today, Bergen Catholic tomorrow, and then a couple of tough games on the weekend as well for the GC Rams.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a long stretch. You got to really be resilient. You got to showcase, hey, people are going to be looking at that first game. You lose 7-5, 6 goals allowed in that third period. They're going to think that you can't close out games. You got to be able to practice that. You got to be resilient. It's all about mindset when it comes to that. You can't really train that in practice. You got to really think. You got to be able to close out games, and this is a great way to start that stretch.
Well, I'll tell you this, we've got fun, exciting hockey coming up on this Wednesday afternoon. It's finals week for a lot of our college friends, myself and you included, but we're going to stick through it, and we've got some fantastic hockey as we get ready to embrace the winter season with high school basketball on the horizon. But right now, it's the St. Peter's Prep Marauders and the Gloucester Catholic Rams getting ready to go. We've got about 5 minutes left in the warm-up period on the ice. St. Peter's Prep and GC are both out there right now. We will have an introductory presentation from a special gentleman who is going to introduce the starting lineups for both teams, and then we will drop the puck, and we've got some great hockey coming your way. We'll be right back.
Go ahead, main board.
Those starting lineup presentations were made by A.J. Gonzalez. And A.J. Gonzalez will now come out here, and he will do the ceremonial puck drop. Now, he is a part of the Virtua Sled Hockey organization for children and young adults with disabilities. So Gonzalez will come out here, and he will do the ceremonial puck drop, and we'll turn up our microphone so you can hear all the sights and sounds. There you go. That was Aiden McHugh for St. Peter's and Andrew Gudzinski for Gloucester Catholic, who made that moment the two captains for these two teams. As well, we welcome you again to Hollydale Ice Arena. These two teams 0-1 on the campaign, and Gloucester Catholic has held the historical advantage against St. Peter's. We covered that game last year. It was the very well covered Gaudreau family memorial game back in February versus St. Peter's. Mikey Joyce scored a hat trick in that game, and GC went on to win 6-3. It was the last win that GC had as a part of a 3-9 campaign with Mike Geary in his first season as head coach. And now St. Peter's and GC will go back to work. GC's got their new threads. They had some manufacturing issues with their jerseys last week, but that's all now squared away, and we're ready to go for the second game of the NJSIAA ice hockey season. As we mentioned, Gloucester Catholic lost to Princeton Day 7-5 last Tuesday in a heartbreaker that saw Princeton Day score 6 goals in the third period, including a hat trick from Philip Kazmarski, who had 15 goals for Princeton last year. Meanwhile, St. Peter's Prep, they also started off the year in the loss column. However, it wasn't last week. It was just on Monday. A 3-2 loss to Notre Dame of Connecticut. And this is St. Peter's last game until Monday versus Oratory Prep. For this first period, St. Peter's will be on the left side of your screen in the same threads that they wore back in February. The bright and reflective silver helmets, the black jerseys with gray numbering, and it looks like gray and maroon accents on the name script on the front. Gloucester Catholic on the right side of your screen in their home white jerseys with their maroon lettering, maroon numbers, and gold and yellow accents. We're ready to go. Sticks a-clamoring on the outer boards here at the Hollydale Ice Arena on this chilly Wednesday afternoon. Referees ready to go. St. Peter's and Gloucester Catholic. Should be a good one between the two teams that were up near the bottom of the division in the Gordon National. We are underway, and St. Peter's is going to win this face-off. Get started here with the Marauders. As this one rolls out, right side, off the boards. Cole Burns in the middle of that one. Along the inner boards, this one flicked up, and it barely stays in. Over to Nolan Doyle on the right wing. That one's flicked out. Now St. Peter's with an open lane. Shot blocked by Geyser. Second chance, blocked again by Geyser. How about that for an electric start to this Wednesday afternoon? Here come the Rams now in transition. Shooting through the middle. Couldn't get anything there, and the Marauders come up with that one. Now St. Peter's bringing this one back down the ice. A quick move here. Over to the left side, it's blocked by Cole Pastor. Coming in for the shot was Nazim Kolesnik. Now back behind the GC goalkeeper. Gets a shove from behind, goes back to Kislik. Kislik now over near board, shooting to the center of the ice. That one's blocked. St. Peter's coming in with a very aggressive offensive approach. They bring this one back behind center ice to the second blue line as St. Peter's makes their first shift change of the day. Aiden McHugh, the forward. The captain who was introduced for the puck drop by A.J. Gonzalez. He goes down. No whistles. We stay alive here. Moving through, Alana Bella. A couple of female players on this GC team this year. Bella had an assist for Cole Pastor earlier in last week's game versus Princeton Day. St. Peter's trapping against Geyser. Couldn't get that one going, and it goes back out to the blue line. They've got to get everybody back on side here, as that one was a bit of a roller away from Jack McKeon. Back over to GC. It's Ilya Boranov on the right side. Hard check into the board right in front of the St. Peter's bench. And here come the Marauders. Nice little float shot out to the right and in front of Geyser. Goes over to Brendan Dohan. Now shot over the middle. Here comes GC one-on-one. He lost the puck in front of him. And it goes back over just behind the goalkeeper in Wolkenhauer. Now it goes behind him. Peters goes behind their home net. And now gets it right back out to the defenseman, Cole Pastor. So we mentioned the two starting defensemen, Afanzo Kislik and Cole Pastor, Gadzinski, Burns, and Doyle, the front three. Rolling along off the GC bench. No stoppages of play in the first 3 minutes. It's been a very fluid start to this game as this one's shoveled out by St. Peter's. Thomas London, the forward, came in on that one. Now it goes out near side. Rolls around back to Wolkenhauer. Wolkenhauer abandons it, now goes back to his offense. Picked up by Jack Lawler. Rolling along, and we'll have our first stoppage of the day for an icing. 11:54 to play in the first period as well. Chase, that was a really good first couple of possessions there. GC and St. Peter's looked like they were bouncing off of each other really well. Even after St. Peter's challenged Geyser directly with 2 head-on shots, looked really good right there.
Very good opening 3 minutes. It really sets the tone for the rest of this game.
That's what GC needs. I mean, again, they scored 2 goals in the first period last week.
It's up 4-1 as he almost glided behind the back line there as Pastor back behind the net. Wolkenhauer keeping his head on the swivel. Now the Marauders have this one. Moving along the near boards. Hard check that time by Gedzinski. Now back over to Kislik. Hard shot off the boards. Back to the left wing, Gedzinski. Over to Niederman. St. Peter's trying to dig that one out in a 2-on-1. Still going back and forth here. Sends a man to the ground. No penalty as St. Peter's with a shot. Couldn't get anything there. GC blocks it. Shot taken by Hunter Ferraro. Now it's back to center ice for London. Another couple of changes for GC here is now, well, they've got some open space to work with as they're making the shift changes. Here comes Kislik on the left side. He's stopped by the Marauders. Backhand pass doesn't go. Now another couple of hits. This one goes back to Cameron Schopfer. Excuse me. Still back behind the Peters net. Goes past Bellin. No icing. This one will wrap around the near boards to number 91, Brandon Duhan. The forward, Dworzanski in on that one. Now goes back to number 46 for Gloucester Catholic. Apologies as he's not on our roster, at least not with the correct number. I apologize. Bellin couldn't get that one through. Back to 46. Alana Bellin still in the mix there. Trying to dig that one out. Now in a standstill on the far boards. GC picks it up, couldn't get anything there. Now setting this one up. Duhan smacks it off the near boards. Rolls around for Dan Caulfield. Caulfield takes this one. Guarded by Burns, the center. Now it's back out, turns it over to the Marauders. They've got a chance to run here, but GC will be rolling right with them as we get 5 minutes into the first period. Back at the back blue line. GC takes this one over, still in their defensive territory here. Taking their time, shooting this one is Niederman. Now goes back out to Hayden Murphy. Flicked up a little bit that time by number 19, Nolan Doyle, the right wing. Chance for St. Peter's to advance here. A lot of these possessions have been stuck in defensive territories. As a shot in the back, Geyser fell down trying to defend the puck behind his own net, and the opportunity just did not open itself for St. Peter's as he slipped on the ice. Now rolling out to the left side. Hard check. Buranov couldn't get there. Now GC's trying to come in. Slap shot. Gets hit. And we've got a penalty here. Or is this just a glove save?
Yeah, I believe it was just a save.
Yeah, I couldn't tell there, but going down on that shot, a hard shot by Ilya Buranov. It's the first shot on goal against St. Peter's, against Wolkenhauer. And we'll have a close face-off here for Gloucester Catholic. Now, Gloucester Catholic, one thing they did really well last week was they won 75% of their face-offs. They did a really good job of beating Princeton Day to the buzzer. And they're going to do it again here, but not for long as St. Peter's takes this one over as it's Caulfield. Check that. It's now McHugh on the right side. Whiffs on the slap shot. Now he sends another man to the ground. Really aggressive defense here from both sides. Shot misses wide left by 97, Niederman. Back off of Wolkenhauer, rolls around the back boards, and another turnover. It's unable to keep that one alive was Kislik. Now this one continues to roll. Right side, flicked up, gets past everybody. Another hard check into the boards for Pastor. Gloucester Catholic, they're loving it on their bench. Sticks a slap of the plenty. This one is flicked up. There is a low roof here at the Hollydale Ice Arena. We've seen a handful of pucks that have been flicked up. They've hit the roof and been out of play just with how low the clearance is. Shot over the middle. Last defenseman is there for St. Peter's in Dworzanski. Rolls this one back out to London. London on the left side gets another check here between Jacobs and Gedzinski, the captain. Moving swimmingly here, shot hard off the glass. Kislik. Another chance. Gloucester Catholic trying to dig it out. They've got an open look and goal! Athanzel Kislik puts the Rams on the board with 7:30 in the first period. Gets that goal to go. And just a really good look that time by Gloucester Catholic right over the middle. As we said, if they were able to dig that puck out, if they were able to get any opportunity to take the defensive possession away from St. Peter's, That was the best chance they would have had, and they end up banging in the goal right there for Kislik.
Just great pressure in their own offensive zone. Does very well, gets the open shot, doesn't make any mistake, puts it into the far post. And Gloucester Catholic takes the early lead.
Not wasting any time here as 46 gets this one out of play. Let's take a look at the replay. Here's your replay of the goal presented by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test take it with Harper Driving School, and they pass on the first attempt. If you don't want to need a second chance, then get it right on the first try with Harper Driving School. No need to replay. We're trying out some new marketing campaigns, if you will. Our sponsors seem to enjoy it. But Harper Driving School just a couple minutes away from the Hollydale Ice Arena in Pittman, New Jersey. May not be very useful to the St. Peter's Prep fan. They've probably got their own up in Jersey City, but this one rolls out. Back behind the boards for Jack McKeown, excuse me. Going down, now St. Peter's with a chance to advance here as this one gets scooped up by Cameron Schopfer. Left side, no offsides. Straight shot, blocked by Geyser. Off of his left pad. And the possession stays alive, but now it's a turnover. Here comes St. Peter's, another open shot, wide right, tipped by Geyser. Another check into the boards this time for Niederman. Moving along, they're very close to being offsides that time. I think he was okay, but it was just borderline with where he was on the blue line. Got to have your whole body over that blue line as there comes a shot, missed by number 19, Jack McCown. Now rolls back out to center ice, beyond center ice for Sal Campione, the defenseman. Flicks it out to McKeown, right side, and a glove save straight away, but he ends up dropping it, and Geyser allows the possession to continue. Now back over to middle, flicked up again. Couldn't get anything that time, and now another save as a little bit of a shove, and they'll break him up, and we'll be okay.
Geyser did very well there. It was a quick 3-on-2 for the Pirates, or the Marauders, excuse me, of St. Peter's, and Geyser just stuck out his pad and made the quick save. It was a breakaway chance. That was really going to get Geyser going with his confidence back after that 7-5 defeat last game. And that's what you need in your goalkeeper. You need confidence. Any confidence that the goalkeeper can find and pull out of nowhere can really shape how this game goes.
Well, Geyser was injured in the third period of last week's game, but he didn't even know he was injured until Gloucester Catholic had already given up the lead, as that one goes into the penalty box. But the problem was that, you know, when you fall down or when you get hurt, you don't know it right away. You don't know that you're hurt right away, and that was the situation with Geyser. And he ended up, now he's okay now, obviously he's playing in the game. They had Stanton come in for him as the substitute goalkeeper in the third period, but by that point, again, you know, listen, we've all taken falls. We all know how that feels. We think we're fine, and then 20 minutes later we're like, oh, this is not okay. So we're glad he's all right, but that was one thing that really stuck with people, is that the shot off the glass, backhanded. St. Peter's takes over. Back over to the left side. Burns spinning around. This one goes back to Pastor. And now this one is ripped around the backboards. On the shot by Murphy. Geyser was able to take it, leaving his net, leaving his space. Back over to Murphy. Slap shot blocked. They'll have a second chance as it goes right back into Kolesnik's reach there. Now another chance, and it's dug out. Here comes Kolesnik. He had the goal earlier in the first period. Couldn't get that one there. Makes a man miss. Gets it past. Looks like another fall that time as the shot to Turk. Didn't get anything there. Now ripping this one around. Brought to Niederman. Niederman over to Pastor, the defenseman. Back behind the blue line. They'll reset now. They'll clear it. Flicks it off of the St. Peter's bench, tipped up off of the foot of Gudzinski, and then had more contact with Niederman. One hand push that time by McHugh. Check that by Grimes. And now here comes Gudzinski again. Over the middle. Turnover, Marauders. They have this one. They've got a clear line, not a clear line in front of them because they've got 4 GC defenders up in front of the line defending Geyser. Now it goes back out to McHugh, back behind the net, looking to crash the net here with 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. No penalty. We stay alive here after a couple of more hard hits. Nice little dump and go by Nick Smith, the starting defenseman. Slap shot, and Geyser saves it. Well, Geyser came into the season with an 88% save percentage, and Princeton Day's goalkeeper, Decker, from last week, had an 87% rate, hence partially why last week's game was so high scoring. But again, you can partially attribute it to the fact that Geyser was banged up and couldn't play. That's going to be another save for Geyser as a nice little can of corn to his left. Now, Chase, you were a 3-year varsity goalkeeper on the land version of hockey. I call it land hockey, soccer. These pucks are coming at you a lot quicker than your average soccer ball, I'll tell you that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, if it helps add a little bit of hockey knowledge, I did play 3 years of street hockey.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Well, we do cover street hockey for the ABHA in the winter and spring, so we might have to book you for those. But net gets dislodged from Geyser here. Yeah, that net got pushed around a little bit. Couldn't tell who. I mean, I couldn't tell if it was just accidental or if it got pushed, but either way, we'll have a couple changes here. 3:35 to play in the first. This broadcast is brought to you by the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Pro Wrestling, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events and nonstop entertainment throughout the Garden State. Visit dawgprowrestling.com for more information. As here comes a save, Geyser off the back glass, and now it's picked up by the Rams. They continue to drive this one with 3:30 to play in the first. Couldn't get anything that time as St. Peter's moving this one coast to coast.
Wow.
Back behind the second blue line there. Shot across center ice. Off the right side, flicked up, checked into the bench that time is Buranov. Now another shove. Hey, this game was physical last year. I wouldn't expect anything different this year. I mean, even last year, this game was attended by so many for the Gaudreau Family Memorial Game, as that's going to be a save by Wolkenhauser. I mean, both goalkeepers have been doing a good job here.
Yeah, they're doing very well. I mean, speaking on the physicality that we were just talking about, you see number 15 for the Marauders. That would be, I'm not trying to snitch here, Aiden McHugh. I mean, he did swing his stick a little bit too high. Lucky to get away without a penalty there.
Well, we did have a couple high-sticking penalties last week versus Princeton Day, but I think there were only 3 penalties in general. Princeton Day had 2 power plays. They were able to take advantage of it. That hit off the post of the bench and went out. A little bit hard to tell from the angle, but the referees had the better angle of it. Now remember, for those that aren't too familiar with high school hockey, we only have 1 intermission compared to 1 after both, as that face-off goes wild. We'll have another chance here as that one flicked up off the net. But, no, I mean, we only have 1 intermission. Last week it was in between the second and the third, but it depends on whether they feel the need to cut the ice after the first or the second. But we'll have 1 guaranteed, as there's a shot from close range off the left post. Wolkenhauer couldn't get there. Another wrestle, and they're going to get everybody in on this one. We've got a whole fracas back behind the net, as getting in on that one, like 97, and then Murphy. Well, Nieder. Oh, and another hard hit here. We've got a whole bunch of trouble after the whistle. So a whole bunch of players are going to go to the ice or go to the box. Did I not say 2 minutes ago that this game was going to be physical?
No, you're right, and that's what I was trying to talk about. It's Chad Niederman. I mean, he just
I wonder if we're going to get a looks like we're going to get a 4-on-4 here.
It looks like it. Niederman was just skating away, escorted by the referee. He might have got tripped up with the stick, or maybe, I can't see who's in the penalty box now, but I believe that's who the culprit was. But either he slipped on the blade of the stick.
It's going to be Niederman.
It's Niederman for Gloucester Catholic. I'm not too sure who it is.
That's going to be they're called 4-minute penalty, yeah.
It's going to be number 23.
That's
for the Marauders.
That's Gianni Lauricchio. So we're going to have 4-on-4 for 2 minutes, and then St. Peter's will have a power play for 2 minutes, which is going to bring us to the end of the period anyway, but that'll carry over.
See, it looked like.
So that's the first time I've seen a major penalty in the high school high school hockey scene this season. It's interesting that I guess because the periods are shorter, 20 in the NHL, 15 in high school, that the major penalties are kind of prorated. Although we've got a second player going into the box here for GC.
So it could be a double.
That's number 14, which is Shane Thornton, who's going to get called here.
So I think the original was on Thornton.
Yeah.
And then after
because there
was
a whole bunch that happened after
and then after
the
the play, when we saw that really late shove after number 37, that would be Chad Niederman, when he was being escorted away by the referee, there was that little scuffle there, which really jumped into something that really didn't need to be, a pushing and shoving contest after the whistle. But now there's a double minor power play.
They're not putting it on the scoreboard. They're only putting Niederman and Lauricchio's infractions up on the board. So the ref is talking to the girls over at the scorer's table. So I'm counting 4 for GC. So I think we will have a 4-on-4, but I don't know if they're asking for something to be updated on the scoreboard or what. But, I mean, when you it happens in every sport, when you have a personal situation like that, like in football. When a fight breaks out and the referees have to figure out, okay, who gets called for what foul, who gets thrown out, who gets this, that, and the other thing. And, well, this is the first period. We're going to have a long night of hockey coming up after this if that's how the first period went. But, again, these two teams know that they're going to be competitive against each other. Against teams like Del Barton, St. Augustine, I don't know. But referees now going into the box. Are they – he was just talking to – so now there's 2 GC players in the box. Yeah, so it is 5-on-4. We are going to have a power play for St. Peter's for 2 minutes. And then – so it's a 4-minute major against Niederman, but this is going to be a great opportunity for the Marauders to tie the game if they get this one going. No icing here. Going back behind Wolkenhauer. Again, it's one of those things where we don't really want to look at the replay to see what happened, just because you don't want to dramatize what happens there in the high school world. This is going to be a nice shot. Second chance, didn't go. Now another opportunity as this one's slapped off by Duhan. Left side, ricochets right to Wolkenhauer. Picking it up and kind of overshooting it that time was McKeon. He is guarded by Doyle, the right wing. St. Peter's all in a lot of different shapes and forms right now as this one continues to go. Just a lot of clearances here in the first period. We've got 1:40 to play. Another little loop that time. Over to Kolesnik. Back behind for Pastor. And we'll have a whistle here. So after the icing call, this will be a great opportunity for St. Peter's if they can win this face-off and then get a breakaway. And look at this, talking about it. They're not completely in the clear, but a good move that time by Grant Fisher. Gets checked. Left side, continues to roll just to the left of Wolkenhauer. Still back behind the net, moving it along to the first blue line. Hunter Ferraro whiffs on it. Braden Jacobs couldn't get there, and now the defense has to pick up the pieces, gets tripped up. No whistle and no delayed penalty from any of the refs. 1 minute to play in the first. Back behind the boards again. St. Peter's looking to set this one up. Oh, he just went down. Just went down right in front of the boards all by himself. Didn't get hit by anybody, it didn't look like. Just looked like he got tripped up on the ice, and now trying to catch Wolkenhauer off guard. A slap shot from way downtown by Kislik, looking for his second goal of the day. Gloucester Catholic now brings their 5th man on the ice. So both teams still have 1 left in the box, but we are back to full strength. And a glove save, Geyser. So 16 seconds to play in the first. And again, we'll let you know, depending on what we are told, whether or not the intermission will be after the first or the second. But 1-0 Gloucester Catholic, a goal midway through the first by Kislik, his second of the season. And the Rams lead the Marauders 1-0. It's the third time we've covered St. Peter's Prep on DWB. The first time was back in April of 2024 when they lost 5-4 to Cherokee in baseball action back at Gloucester Catholic. So it's so funny. We've covered St. Peter's 3 times, and all 3 times have either been against GC or on Gloucester Catholic facilities and property as a neutral site. 5 seconds. Moving this one back to center ice. Looks like they'll let this one go as GC will try to get one last chance, but they'll run out of time. And at the end of the first period, the Rams lead this one 1-0 over St. Peter's Prep. So a little bit of a nice goal from Kislik and a little bit of some pushing and shoving brings us to the end of the first. And Niederman will still have 1:28 in the box when we come back. We'll see what they put up on the board. We'll wait to see before we go to break whether they put 5 up or 15. And drum roll, please, I guess. Well, we have to do this every time we do ice hockey. We have to kind of guess, but St. Peter's is staying on the ice. So they are going to put 15 up. We'll go into intermission. Please enjoy the DWB Archives program, where we will show you the best of the best from our 4 years of covering South Jersey athletics, from walk-off home runs to game-winning shots and much more during this intermission. And never mind, they changed it back to 5 minutes. So the DWB Archives program will play, but in between the second and the third, as both of these teams head off the ice. We'll be right back. 1-0 Gloucester Catholic.
Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of Dog Professional Wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality. And I'm upstanding. I'm the only opinion you need.
Yeah! It's your boy Gabriel Hodder here with my man Matthew Oman, and if you want your events to be all fight, no flight,
then book Dog Wrestling so you can witness true primal fear. Woo!
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Welcome back. We're ready to go. St. Peter's 0, Gloucester Catholic 1. I'm Dan Wilkins. I'm joined by Chase Parson on the call. Vincent Focht on the production. And we have begun the second period here. First goal came from Kislik, excuse me, with 7 minutes to play in the first. But the overall breakdown of the first period is that this has been a very physical game, and it's going to continue to be a very physical game. We've already seen players get tagged for penalties for fighting earlier. We saw Niederman get hit with a coincidental, and it's just, whoa, that one's way up there and out of town. And this game could continue to get physical. I mean, the referees know that. This game was just as physical last year, and that game had a lot more media attention than this one did. So it's going to be interesting to see how that transpires. But we'll have a face-off right in front of St. Peter's and Wolkenhauer. St. Peter's won that one, but not by much. It goes back to Pastor. Big hit. Love to see it. Back to Doyle. Blue line. Just a bit of a odd puck placement that time. Another Marauders player down. Stopping on a dime is Kislik. I keep saying it wrong. Kislik. My apologies. Rolling around is Burns. Creating some space. Turns it over. GC's had a lot of turnovers, not just tonight, but last week as well. One goes out. Up the middle. Couldn't get anything there. So it was a close call for Kislik. Chase, I'm going to get it right by February, I'll tell you.
I believe you.
And that's a problem because our last home game is January 26th. This one is a nice little floater. Back to Kislik. Popped up. Left side. Pastor has it. Check that on the right side. I mean, St. Peter's has been trapping Gloucester Catholic well. It was a good power play kill at the end of the first period. This one's going to be icing. Our schedule for this upcoming week on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting: on Wednesday, we're back here, same time, same place, but a different opponent. It's the Bergen Catholic Crusaders and the Gloucester Catholic Rams. It'll be our first time covering BC, Bergen Catholic. And then we have basketball on Saturday. We have 3 games, 2 boys games, 1 girls game as we kick off or tip off the basketball season for 2025 and 2026. 10:30 a.m. it's West Deptford versus Cumberland. 12:30 Winslow versus Deptford. And 2:30 Woodbury versus Pensgrove girls. That will all be played as a part of the Red Devil Classic in Salem County in Carneys Point. Good check that time. Good touch by Sal Campione. Was able to create some more space and now sets up this possession for the Marauders. Gets turned over quickly, though, by Duhan. And now it's back to the Marauders. Goes back behind the second blue line for Murphy. Niederman. Check that. That's 97, not Niederman. 97 and 46 we do not have on our rosters. Another big hit. Look out. Good check that time as this one will roll around back behind Geyser. Rolling parallel, or I should say, yeah, parallel to the blue line. Seamus Bacha was in on that one. It's Bacha and Campione. Another good check there. Deflected off the foot of Bacha. And now here come the Rams. Nolan Doyle. Right side, shot, and goal! Ilya Burinov went down after the goal. And the Rams lead 2-0.
That's a huge, huge goal there.
We've got a penalty after the goal on St. Peter's.
Yeah, it looked like it was number 15, the captain. And that would be Aiden McHugh again. Wow. So he got away with one. He swung the stick. I saw that.
Yeah, Aiden McHugh is going to get called here. I saw Burinov fall. I wonder, we'll have to look at the replay again. We'll have to see.
He went down holding his head, so maybe
if he got hit.
Yeah, it looked like he just.
I mean, if he's getting hit after, if there's contact being made after the goal, then that's not a good precedent to set.
Well, it's a great finish.
Yeah, the positives of it were that Burinov had a great finish that time. It was a great 1-2 punch with Doyle.
Yeah, Doyle and Burnov, that was just a great combination. Little 1-2 combination punch there, and that puts the Rams up 2-0.
We will stay at full strength, though, 5-on-5. Goes back over to Geyser. At the next stoppage, we'll take a look at the replay. Pastor continuing to work through the defense. The defenseman himself taking it all the way from end to end of the ice. Just got past the Turk that time. And now here comes St. Peter's in transition. It's 22. Nazim Kolesnik. Back to the blue line for Isaiah Stampley. Geyser comes just outside of his circle and makes the save. Let's take a look again from that goal by Ilina Burnov. Seeing if maybe we can see contact that put McHugh in the box. Taking a look here, this replay presented by Harper Driving School.
You see him right there, yeah.
Wow. That's that's not good to see.
Well,
and that was right in front of the Gloucester Catholic bench as well. This one gets flicked around. Dworzanski was in on that one. Here comes Niederman. Shot blocked. Rolls back over to Dworzanski. 2-on-1. Turned over to 46, but St. Peter's able to deflect it. Good deflection that time by the Marauders. Back to Stampley, the defenseman. Rolls back over to Gedzinski. Gedzinski trailed behind by Kolesnik. This one goes back to Stampley. Stampley, side to side, over to Murphy. Murphy back over to Duhan. Rolling around the boards here. Picking it up is the Rams. Couldn't get anything that time. Here comes another chance. Marauders back behind Geyser. Couldn't get anything that time. GC with possession, but not really rushing it as that one shoots through a whole lot of traffic, and Geyser was able to get that one on a deceptive shot by Isaiah Stampley.
Yeah, Geyser's been phenomenal through these first period and a half. He has the shutout so far, facing a lot of shots through traffic, one-on-one shots. He's been making all sorts of stops, and that's really climbing the confidence ladder for him.
Yeah, that's been fun to watch for Richie Geyser so far, is his ability to block those shots really from anywhere, and even that deep shot there that was almost obstructed by how far they were out, as that one's way over the glass off the top of the netting that time. .10:15 to play in the second period. Rams lead 2-0, a goal apiece in the first two periods. And this one will go. Whistles after the face-off. So they'll try this one again. And again, looks like Gloucester Catholic's going to win this one. Here comes Alana Bellin, number 15. Oh, she just missed the shot opportunity that time for Wolkenhauer. Alana Bellin, as we mentioned, had an assist in the 7-5 loss last week. Now moving behind. Going down, but still with the puck is Kislik. Crashing the net, open look. Pastor shoots and scores! Cole Pastor spreads the good word, and it's 3-0 Gloucester Catholic. 2 goals in the second period, and Cole Pastor picks up his second of the year. The Rams now up 3-0 midway through the second period. Well, more than midway through the second period at this point with 5 minutes left. 9 minutes left. I was looking at the scoreboard wrong, but.
Just an all-around great play. The breakaway chance for Bellin, she just couldn't get on the end of it. But great resilience for this Rams offense. Sends it right back in front. Pastor standing wide open at the top of the crease, and he just blasts that into the far post.
And as much as it's nice for Cole Pastor, oh, here comes another crash of the net. Look out, ball is out, or puck is out. There were some really close range shots that time by Nazim Kolesnik. No cigar that time. Puck came out right in front of Geyser, but what we were saying was Alana Bellin So close to getting her first career goal. That would have been a huge moment. Would have been a great highlight. But if you're Gloucester Catholic, you'll still take the Pastor goal as much as any. 9:29 to play in the second period. Again, after the second, we'll have our intermission. As rolling over this time to the left side is Bobby DeTurk. Here come the Marauders. Good stop by Geyser. Now moving back behind the net. Out to the left wing, missed it. And now all the way back, having to clear this one, is Murphy. Campione wanted to take the shot as the defenseman, but he just couldn't get anything on it, and the puck ended up going wide to his right. He missed another one. Now Gloucester Catholic's going to try to take this one over. Out to the near boards on the right side. Back behind Wolkenhauer. Whiffs on it, gets hit. Now another chance, moving around. Cole Burns feeds it. DeTurk goes down. Now another chance as it's London. London on the right side. Another trip. Another fall. No whistles again. Referee swallowing whistle here. Although I don't think that was a penalty anyway. Just sometimes if you're playing it really, really strictly, you can sometimes get close to that. Off the near boards. Moving around quickly behind Wolkenhauer for Nick Smith. Checked but from behind by Nolan Doyle. Really good back and forth here by the Marauders and the Rams. With the Rams up 3-0. St. Peter's looking to get their groove back. We do have a delayed penalty. Never mind. I saw the hand go up. My apologies. Never mind. We're covering 10 games this year. By the 10th, I think I'll have it. That one rolls. A slap shot by Pastor just went a little bit high. And after all of that mess, here come the Marauders. They have their first open look in a while with Nick Smith back over the middle. It gets blocked. And here comes the Rams. Back over to 19, Nolan Doyle. Another hit. Marauders go down. Two Marauders down, getting trapped off the stick of Wolkenhauser. Missed on it. The shot by Kislik didn't go. As he's down, whistles prevent that one, and we've got something coming here. 7:10 to play in the second.
Is that his
what
blade?
Is that?
It looks like his blade came off.
Yeah, his blade came off. That's why he couldn't get up. Because the referee just picked it up.
Look at him. Look at him crab walking.
I feel bad. I mean, I feel bad for the kid, but it's just.
It's kind of funny though.
It's
sliding.
It's a
sliding.
I mean, he's not hurt, so
yeah,
it's a blooper. But we do have a penalty coming though. 2 minutes against the Marauders. Going to the box is number 21, Thomas London, the forward. So as they sort all this out, we did mention the Red Devil Classic on Saturday. Chase will be on the call for Monday's game between the Triton Mustangs and the Cinnaminson Pirates in girls basketball on Monday, December 15th. We've got a doubleheader in Cinnaminson that night on the 15th. 4 o'clock is the girls' game, Triton and Cinnaminson. You can see here, the referee's on a knee. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here.
I think he's just trying to fix it.
He's trying to put the blade back on.
I mean, he's the only one without gloves on.
DIY,
So.
yeah. DIY, fix it yourself. Well, if you watch any of our RCSJ games, we had a game on Saturday where the basketball net or the basketball backboard had a piece of foam so that if you jumped up really high, you wouldn't hit your head into the glass backboard, and the piece of foam came loose in the middle of play. So they had to stop everything. They had to get the athletic trainer and the athletic director out on a tall, 8-foot ladder and literally take athletic trainer's tape and fasten it to the board. And you can see now they're taking this Marauders player off the ice. You can see his right cleat or his right skate. That's number 12, Braden Jacobs. We've mentioned his name a handful of times, so he's going to go to the bench while they get this fixed. It's happened, but I haven't covered enough hockey to where I can say I've seen that one before. Face off on the far right corner. Marauders win it. Remember, they do have a power play. Gloucester Catholic has a power play, so they are shorthanded right now. 2 minutes against London, as we mentioned. I didn't catch what for, but Whirl this one back over the middle with Pastor. He cuts to the left. He's got a GC man waiting for him. Checked hard. You could hear that from the glass. You could hear that from our crowd mic as well. Right side. Slap shot straight away on a save by Wolkenhauer. Great save that time. Saves like that, when it's right to your chest, don't seem all that difficult, but with the speed at which that shot was coming from and from the angle, it was a good save by Wolkenhauer. A minute 30 on the power play for Gloucester Catholic as they're going to try to take advantage of this, and we've got a false, I guess you could say a little jump on the face-off there. I'm just so used to calling high school football. I'm used to saying false start and offsides and everything, but hey, offside applies in hockey. Burns tries to get a shot. It goes behind the net, and it's stuck. It is stuck on the back of the net. It landed in that little crevice there as Burns had to get that shot up. He tried to flick it, and he just couldn't get that one that time. So plenty of stoppages here in the second period. As I was saying, we do have two Cinnaminson games on Monday. It's Triton and Cinnaminson for the girls. Cinnaminson won 22 games last year under Coach Brett Jenkins. And then the boys game, Bordentown versus Cinnaminson. Cinnaminson won a handful of games last year, a decent bunch, but they're losing 4 of their 5 starters, including the Harvey brothers. So that is going to be interesting to see how that works. You can tune in on Monday, December the 15th. We'll go over the rest of the schedule for next week after this possession, or after the next stoppage of play. Oh my goodness! Wow, he got right in the middle of that. And it ended up stopping Gloucester Catholic from taking a further lead as a flailing GC player right in the middle of it all ends up stopping everything here as we've got another stoppage.
Looked like number 17, Cole Burns.
Cole Burns,
like
yeah.
He just went airborne and flung himself accidentally right in the middle of the shot and just deflected straight up in the air.
GC wins the face-off. Back over right side. Has a lot of offensive space, but they haven't moved anywhere close yet. That shot is saved. Wolkenhauer gets in there. As we mentioned, we would talk about next week. We talked about Monday. Then we go on to Tuesday where we get Olympic Conference basketball between the Cherry Hill West Lions and the Cherokee Chiefs. 6 p.m. tip-off on Tuesday the 16th. Then on Wednesday, we're right back at Hollydale. It's our 4th of 10 games. Again, we mentioned we have Bergen Catholic tomorrow. Next week, we have Don Bosco on the 17th at 3:05 p.m. Another check there. Slapped the stick right off of GC's bench. Now it's Pastor over the middle for Buranov, who scored that second of 3 goals. Right side. Pastor shoots, and a nice save by Wolkenhauer that time. Sometimes when a guy shoots the puck so hard, you can't even tell where it's going. You don't know whether it's in or in the goalie's hand, and in that case, Wolkenhauer lasered in on it and was able to make a nice save. Gloucester Catholic still has 19 seconds left on the power play, but I tell you, St. Peter's Prep being down by 3, this would still be a very meaningful power play kill if they're able to get through this possession, get through these next 19 seconds. I mean, really, you only need to defend for about 10 seconds, and then your focus should shift to getting that puck out, clearing it, and making sure that GC can't get anything going before we go back to full strength. Just like this. 12 seconds now. Now, St. Peter's tried to clear it. They didn't get anything there. It got flicked up right in front of Alana Bellin. And there you go. We're going to go back to full strength. Great power play kill by the Marauders. Another hard check. Not that hard, I guess you could say. Buranov. Back and forth. 5 minutes to play in the second period. Oh, look out. We're going to have a high stick here, it looks like. On Buranov.
Is it high stick or offsides? It looked like it might have been offsides.
Never mind.
Yeah, they're going to be.
I thought the stick was decently up there, but.
Yeah, they're going to check him for offsides. It looked like it was just millimeters over the blue line or too early.
3-0 Gloucester Catholic. After the offside, St. Peter's immediately taking the money and running. Here comes a good rush by the Marauders as they now get everybody back in front of the blue line here. Would be interesting to see St. Peter's try to crash to the net more instead of taking more long-distance shots. think about it in a basketball term. If you're not hitting from three-point range, you're going to start wanting to shoot just regular old layups so that you can get an easier chance to score. That's the situation here for St. Peter's. They're taking a lot of shots from outside and several from even outside the blue line. As there comes another chance. Burinov couldn't get there and whistles.
So it looked like, you see Geyser, he came from the bench, so was it a delayed? Yeah, it was a delayed penalty. So now the Gloucester Catholic's going to go back on the power play. It's number 22.
You'd be right, Kolesnik.
Yep, Kolesnik. Well, not too sure what the call was, but.
Yeah, I didn't see that either, but GC's going to have another 2-minute power play here. It's the third that the Rams have had this afternoon. Right side, Pastor to the middle, to Burinov, looking for his second goal of the day. St. Peter's trying to corner him in, 2-on-1. Back over right side, Pastor to Burinov, and whistles here. Looks like there was some contact right in front of the net with Niederman. We do have an offside here against the Rams as GC does win the faceoff after the offsides call. Shot, Pastor, didn't go. Saved by Wolkenhauer. Pastor frustrated with himself that time that he didn't get that shot to go. Pastor did score the most recent goal for the Rams. One from Kislik. One from Burns, or check that, from Burinov, and then a third from Pastor. Over to the left side. Gloucester Catholic hasn't been on that side of the ice in a little while now, which is a good thing for GC because that means that St. Peter's really just haven't had the breakaways that they've wanted. But after killing one power play earlier in the period, they're going to have to do another, as they've got 1:05 left in the penalty, 3:28 to play in the second period. Again, I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Chase Parson of Rowan College at Burlington County on the call, Vincent Focht of Camden County College on the production. If you'd like to make a contribution to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting to help all of us in our college careers and equipment expenses, travel costs, whatever you'd like, you can send us a contribution if you'd like via our Venmo at DW Broadcasting. Of course, all Dan Wilkins Broadcasting live streams are free to watch, but it is incredibly appreciated if you choose to make a contribution. Gloucester Catholic had a chance there, but they ended up misplacing it with Burinov just was a little bit too outstretched on his right side as this one goes back. Center ice shot, couldn't get it. Second chance, and it rattles in. Goal GC, 4-0. Came in that time for Alana Bellin, or no, that was 17. Cole Burns picks up the goal. And with 36 seconds left in the power play, after St. Peter's was able to successfully kill a power play earlier in the period, they are not as lucky the second time around, and the Rams lead by 4.
Cole Burns, right place, right time. Quick shot, caused a bit of a scramble in the crease. Puck bouncing up and down and just slapped midair, looked like, into the back of the net. That one really sets this game and really tells you what the rest of this game could look like. You got 3 minutes left in this second period. The Rams are either gonna, looks like they're just gonna keep trying to pad on the score and really see this one out.
Well, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut about games being won or lost because the Rams were up 4-1 in the third period last week versus Princeton Day, and the final score was 7-5. So high school hockey is a wild sport, and I really don't know where it's gonna go from here, but St. Peter's has not been shut out versus the Rams since 2022. They played twice in that calendar year. They actually played 3 times in that calendar year. And in February, Gloucester Catholic won 4-0, and they did the same in December of 2022. Last time these two teams played, it was the Gaudreau Family Memorial game. GC won 6-3. And in December of that year, in the Gordon National, they won 3-2. So 2 of 3 Gloucester Catholic wins last year came against this Marauders team. And, well, I tell you, I mean, it's going to be a good stretch, I think, for GC, mostly because tonight they're playing the team that finished last in the Gordon National, and tomorrow they're playing the team that finished last in the Gordon American, in Bergen Catholic. They only won 4 games last year. They went 4-16-1. So looking at the stat on your left side, I mean, again, St. Joseph Montvale, they don't play them at home this year. Seton Hall Prep and Pope John Doe, they do over in January. A minute 30 to play in the second period before we go to intermission. A standstill behind Wolkenhauer. GC trying to get it out. They do, and Burns gets in there, but it's no good. Puck rattles out. Goes back to GC. A minute 10 now. Trapped on that one with Burnow. Over on the near boards on the right side. Shot. Wolkenhauer brings it right into his glove. 59 seconds to play, almost exactly a minute. Don't forget, after the game, stay tuned for the DWB postgame show presented by South Jersey NABA. There's never a better time for a second chance. Visit South Jersey NABA for registration for the top men's league for baseball in South Jersey. Registration is open until mid-March, and fees are lower than any other men's league in South Jersey. Visit South Jersey NABA, NABA, for the National Adult Baseball Association.com. Rolling over to the left side, here comes the Marauders, who get this one. Second chance, shove from the back. And no goal, they say. No goal. It was hard to tell from that angle, but 2 great shots there by Nazim Kolesnik, who got tagged for a penalty earlier in the game. Now back on the ice with full strength, and with 38 seconds left, score remains 4-0. GC gets the face off their way, continuing to drive it quickly down the ice. Slapper doesn't go. That was just a full head of steam that time by Kislik. And now the Marauders have it again. 2-on-1. Almost was ahead that time, just so close to being offside, but St. Peter's able to survive. That was the right call. Back to Pastor. That one got tipped up. I don't know if that hit his helmet or his shoulder or what, but it got tipped up, and now a late call and a whistle here with 9 seconds left. Again on this Wednesday afternoon, Rams with 1 goal in the first period, 3 in the second. They now make it a 4-0 lead. They'll run this one out. Alana Bella with a late check. And at the end of the second, we'll go to intermission in a physical game. Well, the first period was quite physical and maybe a little bit personal. This second one a little bit calmer, but some procedural penalties, we'll say. And 3 goals by Gloucester Catholic give the Rams a 4-0 lead going into the intermission. We'll be back in 15 minutes. Again, we'll play some more commercials for you, and then the Dan Wilkins Broadcasting Archives program with the best of the best from our 4 years of broadcasting experience in South Jersey. And it gets past everybody. Graham will go back to position with no goal scored. They'll count down the time out loud here. Out to the left. One final shot, and it gets through. How about a buzzer beater? How do you do? It's a lead extending goal for Justin Lewis. Ugly to end the day for Luke Pokrovsky. Little pop-up, first base side, he calls for it, and for the first time in 33 years, the Charlotte Cougars will hoist the trophy and face Middlesex on Monday. 4-3, Cougars win it. And in the battle of green and gold, the trophy stays true with the visitors. What a finish!
and Shalleck will pack their bags for Middlesex and the Blue Jays when the weekend turns around to Monday.
Epplite, you know, he's, again, one time leaving the bases loaded is frustrating enough. Doing it twice in a row. Oh, how about this? Line drive. They're going to, no, he's throwing it around the infield. They're going to throw him out at first. He's out. I have never seen that before. That is a 5-4-3 ground out because the third baseman thought he caught it. The home plate umpire said no, so he threw it around the infield and then got the out at first anyway because the batter thought he was out.
The batter stopped. The third baseman thought
Everybody
he caught
stopped.
it, and it touched.
Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of dog professional wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality. And I'm upstanding. I'm the only opinion you need.
Yeah! It's your boy Gabriel Hodder here with my man Matthew Oman, and if you want your events to be all fight, no flight,
then book Dog Wrestling so you can witness true primal fear. Woo!
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Jack Mastero, 2 for 3 with a strikeout, a double, and a single. Looking to play hero. He's going to line this one into right center field, and that's going to drop. That's going to do it if they don't get a throw down. Mastero's going to second, and Danza's coming home. Sectional champions, Gloucester Catholic. They do it in a walk-off fashion as GC with Mastero playing hero. An unbelievable
Literally, they've been here twice, and they're about to score, or on the doorstep of scoring 50 for the second game in a row. Xavier Terry Brown. He is still on his feet. He's being shoved forward into the end zone. But who's got the ball? Look at Jason Solomon. The ball magically appeared in Woodbury's hands, and now they're back at the 50. This one's going back. This one's going to go to the distance. I don't see any flags. Did that just go for 100 yards? I think it did. I do not see any flags as Woodbury. Oh my goodness, Jason Solomon have a day. He is the first man not named Taylor to score.
Wow. That was good.
And it gets past everybody.
Doubleheader reached first on an error in the first at-bat of Game 2. This one's lined into center field. Slider going over. He dives. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Ryan Slider makes the catch. Not on a slide, but instead on a dive. 2 away.
Launches one foul. See, Mostero's doing us a service here. Or excuse me, D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro is doing us a service here. He's letting us have this conversation by having a long at-bat. But a lot of people are still caught up in the D1 or bust mentality. Listen to this crowd. Listen to this crowd. We'll talk about that later. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Clapping it up here for the Roadrunners. 2-2. Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! 3-run homer, D'Alessandro! And it's a 1-run game at the crack of the bat, 5-4. 3-run shot to center field. Trailing towards the right center, and the cleanup man does exactly what the position orders, cleaning up. And he does it incredibly well with a 5-4 game. He battles for 11 pitches and makes it. They were able to get out unscathed in the 3rd, but now the 4th isn't looking so kind. There's a high drive, deep center, way back, and it is out of here! John Pelosi! 3-run home run! He's left the building to dead center! And John Perosi's blown this game wide open. Have yourself a celebration, Johnny.
Will lead it off for the Senators. Chase Rollins, the player manager for CHP, gets it started with a ball upstairs, and we are underway in Game 1. 1-0. That one is hit well out towards left, and it is gone off the top of the goalpost. Shane Adamski with a thunderous start to his playoff series. Second pitch of the game, a solo homer to left, and before I could even write the first name down in my scorecard, it's 1 zilch.
Welcome back to the intermission report here at the Hollydale Ice Arena. Gloucester Catholic, they're looking good in this one. I'm gonna hold my tongue a little bit considering last week, but it is 4-0 going into the third period. And Chase, this has just been a great performance by Gloucester Catholic on both offense and defense. A team that they have beaten in the last 6 head-to-head appearances. It could be the first time that they shut out the Marauders since 2022, but of course the last 15 minutes will dictate that. 4 goals, 4 goal scorers. Your thoughts on the first 2 periods?
It was just an all-around amazing effort so far by the Gloucester Catholic Rams. Mr. Geyser in goal has been phenomenal. He's so far as my player throughout the first 2 periods. Let's see if he's the player of the game for me at the end, if he can hold the shutout and maybe make some 1 or 2 more star-studded saves as he's been making. On offense, they've been applying the pressure to this defensive end of the Marauders, and they've really capitalized, the 1-2 punch between Doyle, as well as who's that goal scorer? I forget his name.
Burns.
It was Doyle and Burns.
Doyle, Burns. Burnova as well, and then the first goal came from Kislik. So 4 goals, 4 goal scorers. This has been a great first 2 periods for Gloucester Catholic. And again, these are the 2 teams that were at the bottom of the Gordon National last year. GC went 3-9. St. Peter's they won 4 games, I'm pretty sure, and just about 12 losses for them last year. And both teams were in the loss column to open up their season. St. Peter's versus Notre Dame, and Gloucester Catholic versus Princeton Day. So the referees, we're just waiting for them to get onto the ice as both teams will readjust their goalposts, and we'll get ready to go for the third period. But I'm Dan Wilkins along with Chase Parson, Vincent Focht on the production. We'll take a quick break, and we'll turn this camera back around for period number 3 of the day here on this Wednesday afternoon. We'll be right back. Ready to go for the third period. It's Gloucester Catholic 4, St. Peter's Prep 0. As the Rams are going to get ready to prepare if they can shut this game out. But again, after last week, nothing is guaranteed. Rams won the face-off, and they cleared it very quickly. As this one goes out to Nick Smith. On the right wing is McHugh. And McHugh will bring this one up the ice, quickly finding Grant Fisher. Now he gets through the middle, 2-on-1, but Pastor is going to take this one. Slides on the newly cut ice, and we're going to have a penalty here. We did see in the third period last week, remember this is the second game in a row that we saw tripping is the call. We did see last week after the ice was freshly cut a lot of trips and slides, but this one was genuinely a penalty, and St. Peter's will get called for that. But in the Princeton Day game, it seemed like nobody could keep their footing. So I couldn't tell whether that was just a slide, but the referees, again, said that that was a trip against number 11. And Grant Fisher, who otherwise had a really good possession, was able to get that puck through the middle and almost shoot it through 2-on-1 on the defense, but couldn't get anything that time. Back out to the Rams. They're taking their time on the left wing. Back out to the right for Pastor. Back to Kislik. And this one rips around the near board, slowed down a little bit, got tipped by Kislik, and it goes back to Geyser. Geyser, again to Kislik. Back to Burinov, one of the goal scorers tonight for GC. And this one gets turned over. Here comes another chance. Number 16, it's Jackson Grimes. And a save. A little bit of a late whistle, but Geyser comes up with it cleanly. 1:16 on the power play for GC.
That would have been a great momentum changer for St. Peter's Prep if they were able to get a shorthanded goal there. Just no luck.
Again, guys are coming up clutch on the breakaways. That's like his second or third breakaway save, and it's really been saving this shutout.
Remember, Gloucester Catholic has not played in 8 days. The last time that they played was that 7-5 loss to Princeton Day. They play Bergen Catholic tomorrow on the 11th, and then they have their first road game of the year at Seton Hall Prep on Monday the 15th. And then they've got a back-to-back with Don Bosco. We cover them on the 17th, and while I say back-to-back, one game at home, one game away, there's 11 days between them. The 17th at home, the 28th on the road at Don Bosco for the Ironmen. And then for St. Peter's Prep, they have a 3-game homestand coming up. Monday versus Oratory Prep. Thursday the 18th versus Xavier out of New York. And then Friday the 19th in Gordon Conference play versus Pope John. Right side, Kitzlik has it, shoots! And a backhanded shot! And it's a goal! Gloucester Catholic with a fantastic wizardry shot that time. I believe
that looked like Cole Burns.
That looked like Burns.
Yeah, it is.
5-0. Cole Burns, second goal of the day. We'll have a replay for you shortly as Burns, as he was going down, makes a magical shot, and the Rams lead by 5.
Another Cole Burns instance of right place, right time. A quick shot, just another loose puck in the end, and it fell right into the wide open net and right to the stick of Cole Burns. Another magical goal.
Alana Bellin missed that one. It goes back out to Dan Caulfield. Another check right in front of the box. So the second power play goal of the day for Gloucester Catholic, this time by Burns. This one rolls around behind Wolkenhauer. Caulfield gets trapped. Puck gets flicked up, and the Marauders now have a chance. Now that we're back to full strength, 5-on-5. It's Schofer. Oh, man. He got hit, I think, just outside of the door, or not even outside of the door, just a hard hit with the boards. We're going to get a penalty here. It'll be 2 minutes against Niederman. Now, Niederman, that's his second penalty of the day, so he's been spending a decent amount of time in that box, and now St. Peter's Prep is going to have their second power play of the day. GC has had 4 power plays. St. Peter's Prep has killed 2 of them. And for St. Peter's, obviously being off the board, they do not have any power play goals, but this is just their second of the day. That whole fracas in the first period was their only other power play prior to now, as the push, or the illegal check, by Niederman sends him to the box for 2 minutes. GC almost jumped on the face-off there. It was close. Marauder's shot got blocked. This one goes back out to Jack McKeon. He clears it. Left side in front of the face-off circle. This one goes back to GC for Doyle. Got flicked around a couple times. That ball popped out after hitting right in the chest Grimes. Now another chance. Marauders, slap shot. Got blocked by his own man. Now trying to sweep in to bring that one out is McKeon. Wraps it around. Far side. Kolesnik goes down. GC's bench loves it. And no icing will keep the play alive. Too many players close to that one for that to be close to icing. Back to center ice. Rips it around. Or he almost ripped it around, but it went to Wolkenhauer. Shot it to the left. Tried to get a little nonchalant goal on his part there that time, as it's McHugh. Right side. Left wing. Marauders looking to set it up. Left to right. Coast to coast. Shots high. Grant Fisher couldn't get in there, and Geyser saves it. Another shove. Pastor getting into it now. Look out. We've got a whole bunch of shoving going on between the Marauders here as McHugh and Pastor exchange pleasantries, and Geyser getting himself out of town quickly. Geyser immediately went to the bench, and they'll have to sort this one out now, because This isn't just your standard. We are going to have a penalty after the play, it looks like.
It's McHugh again. He's
Paster's
really
going to get called here.
It's Passer into the box, and McHugh for what, the third time?
No,
or second time?
No, McHugh. I think this is his first. I think McKeon got called for one. No,
okay.
McHugh did get one.
It's the second.
But no, that was the right call there. I mean, just right after the goal, even if you're trying to stick up for your guy, you can't instigate by, just throwing a shove right there. It definitely could be worse, but we will now have still a power play for St. Peter's Prep and 3 total players in the box. The penalty box has not been empty for a lot of time tonight. It has been well occupied. As Geyser flicking that one up with the stick will have to go back to his position. Rolling around. Oh, look out. That one was slapped right into the bench. It got a piece. That got a piece of Gudzinski. Got to look out that time. I mean, there's no protection there. They got the big sign, watch out for flying pucks, but that barrier is even lower on the other side. $5-0 Gloucester Catholic, and again, the officials do have to stay on their toes because in any sport, when a game gets out of hand, players are going to be upset, and that's just how it is. But as we mentioned, McHugh rather, and Pastor in the box. Right side, taken over by the Rams, 97 over the right wing for Buranov. Slips on his own accord, tries to fish it out with the stick, but the Marauders have another chance here. Back over to 16, Jackson Grimes, another hit at center ice. We have a delayed penalty coming, and I think this is going to be another one against GC here. Oh, look out! He got tripped up as he was going back to the line. He was going coast to coast, and either somebody wasn't looking or somebody had something to say to him. And they're going to sort this one out now. Niederman's now back in for the 3rd time. So Niederman just came out of the penalty box no less than 2 minutes ago, and now he's back in.
Now we got a timeout for St. Peter's. Definitely a well-needed timeout.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a game that GC is if they hang on to this shutout, it'll be their first shutout against St. Peter's Prep in 3 years, dating back to December of 2022. But these coaches got to get their players back in a row here. I mean, there is a lot of talking, there's a lot of yapping going on between these two teams, and it was like that last year. It's going to be like that every single time that they play. But the more you can limit it, no matter what side you're on, you want to come out as the team that not only has the physical upper hand, but has the moral upper hand as well. Now, I know that morality in hockey is something that doesn't always translate, but in this situation, we've seen several scuffles. We've seen one that was more than a scuffle and one that's just, how it is. But, Pastor's shove, again, as much as we want to shoot it down the middle, that just how it is. Pastor going to the box for that was deserved. Even though you're sticking up for guys or your teammate, you just can't shove another player. This isn't the NHL. This is high school. If that happened in any other sport, you're getting suspended. And, in high school athletics, the NJSIAA has the rule where if there's three ejections, it's a disqualification from the playoffs. Now, there's a million different things that we can argue about, but that's for the South Jersey Starting 9 podcast with myself and David Cohen in next week's episode. But my point is that, yes, hockey is a physical sport. Hockey is a sport that is going to have people shoving, people getting physical, people checking. That's just the name of the game. But high school hockey has a different level of discipline, and what's a different level of discipline that's expected from them as compared to the professionals. Referee walks away from the face-off. So after taking a lap, we'll go back to it. It's Grimes and Doyle, the right wing, in for the face-off as there's a slap shot directly off of the draw by Kolesnik. Didn't get anything there. Now back in front of the blue line. Setting up a shot for McKeon. Rips off the far boards on the right side in front of the GC bench. back out in front of the blue line. Again, these two defensemen just trying to figure it out as they now go back to the center. Marauders whiffed on it, and now here come Gloucester Catholic again. But they're not without any trouble. They send a man to the ground, that being Duhan. Again, this game's just going to continue to get physical here. It's a 5-0 game. It wasn't as close as it was last year in February with a 6-3 game. Mikey Joyce had a hat trick in that game. They say not offsides. Goes to Fisher. High looper, and he comes down with it. Geyser makes the save and keeps this as a shutout for the junior goalie. Good face-off that time. GC wins it. Actually, not for long. Looks like St. Peter's Prep ended up getting the final laugh on that face-off, on that draw. They go back to the center. Over to Smith. Shot left side by McKeon. Tried to set that one up there. McKeon is open on the right side. Close call there. His body was not entirely behind the blue line, and that's where that threshold comes in. Remember, you can have part of your body behind the blue line. Kind of like the backcourt violation rule in basketball. It's a little bit like that. And the reason why I say that is because our DWB viewer base may not be all that familiar with hockey. And once Vince gets on the call, maybe next week, he'll have a lot more to say than I will. But I'm sure the hockey diehards are annoyed that I use all these different analogies. But I've covered 200, 300 baseball games, about 100 football games, and about 200 basketball games. I've got a stick loose. Another shove. So we'll have that one called. 30 seconds left on the power play. Let's see where this gets called. So hooking will be the call. Let's see who's it on. It's going to be on Grimes for St. Peter's. As we mentioned, we'll be back on the air tomorrow in the afternoon for another Gordon Conference game between Bergen Catholic and Gloucester Catholic. So again, it should be a nice stretch for GC. I mean, if they win tonight, we've got just under 9 minutes left. And that was about the time that Princeton Day started putting goals up on the board last week, but they already had one from the second period of that game. In what was a 7-5 final. Another couple of big hits here. Moving along the center. Jack McKeon, right side, takes it himself. Slap shot off the right and didn't go. So close. Great saves by Geyser. Another check here as the puck is loose on the right side. Oh, Merry Christmas to you too. That one is flicked up, knocked down by the Marauders. Over to Grant Fisher. Sliding at center ice with the misdirection. Is trying to get that one separated is Pastor. Pastor now in a standstill behind Wolkenhauer, behind the St. Peter's net. Taking his time. Out to 46. Out to the left defenseman. Buranov, shot didn't go. Buranov lost his footing. Second chance, blocked by Wolkenhauer. Now another chance for the Rams. 33, Kislik had the first goal of the day. Willie bookended. Now it's Pastor right side. He had the third goal of the day. Buranov had the second. Now he's on the left side. Shoots coast to coast. Couldn't get it there. The misdirection not fooling Dustin Wolkenhauer, excuse me. And now here come the Marauders again. Slap shot blocked. Second chance. Puck comes out, and it's a goal. Or is it? No, it is. See here, it counts. Just a tough call that time, but the Marauders are on the board with the goal from number 23, Gianni Lauricchio. And a shorthanded goal at that. And the Marauders attack GC when it matters most. We mentioned in the second period when they were on a power play that ended up getting killed, that if they had a shorthanded goal, that it would have changed the momentum of this game. The goal scored by Lauricchio, and the Marauders are on the board. It's 5-1. Out to Campione, the defenseman, turned over to Niederman, who's out of the box. Still in the box for the Marauders is Grimes for another 20 seconds, and the save by Wolkenhauer, excuse me. 5-1 with 7 minutes to play in the third period. Gloucester Catholic went up 5-0 before the Marauders scored on the shorthanded goal. Left side, Kislick almost turned it over. Now is a chance for a wraparound. Misdirect, still behind Wolkenhauer, keeping his head on a swivel. Wolkenhauer wasn't even looking at the puck, but he saved it anyway. Look out. They get everybody removed from the pile. I don't know, Chase, if you saw Dustin Wolkenhauer there, but his head was looking to the left, and the shot by the left wing, number 20, Andrew Godzinski, hit off of his right leg or his right guard, and it was a save. A little kick there that time by Godzinski. Or checked that by Kislick. Pastor is there. We're back to equal strength. But the Marauders are still going to try to crash the net, try to take inspiration from the Princeton Day Panthers of last week. Geyser whiffs on it, has to get back to his post, didn't get there in time, but the shot missed. Now it goes coast to coast again, back to 21, Thomas London, and over to Campione. 6.5 minutes to play. Flip shot over the crossbar, didn't go that time. Another chance for St. Peter's as they continue to make huge offensive statements and pressures here as that one is whiffed. Goes back behind the center line. This one is over to 17, Hayden Murphy. Over the middle now. Shot wide right. Broken stick for Braden Jacobs. His blade fell off again. He's now crab walking. He's down on a knee. And even though we're on full strength, St. Peter's Prep is still without a fifth man. And the goal taken advantage of as St. Peter's Prep lost a skate. And as a result, they lose a goal. Scored by number 19, Nolan Doyle, and it's 6-1.
Oh,
was that the same guy from earlier?
It looks like it. I believe so.
So it's something that's actually wrong with his skate, and it's his specific skate that's got something wrong with it then. That's the second time that's happened. And the first time they were able to make a stop, but this time, I mean, it's almost like you had a flashbang power play right there. GC with 5-on-4 because your fifth man was all the way at the other end of the ice, basically with 1 foot. 6-1 Gloucester Catholic. Nolan Doyle scores his first. Again, the goal for St. Peter's Prep earlier was by Gianni Lauricchio. The goals by Gloucester Catholic, we have one by Afonso Kislick, one by Cole Pastor, 2 by Cole Burns, the most recent by Nolan Doyle, and the 6th by Ilya Burinov. Alana Bellin is there, flicked up, right side. Alana Bellin, one of at least one female player on this Gloucester Catholic team, as another crash coming in for Geyser. Puck comes out, and giving a hand sandwich, if you will, to Cameron Scheupfler. Puck comes out again, finds some space, flicked up, hits off the top of the glass. Tries to slap it in from close range, didn't go that time, and now GC has it. They go to clear, and we'll have icing. 4:28 to play. Let's run through some ads. This broadcast is brought to you by Rowan College of South Jersey and the Roadrunners, New Jersey's premier community college with over 50 associate's degree programs to get yourself out in the real world for a fraction of the cost. Visit rcsj.edu for academic registration. Spring registration is open, and you can still register for winter classes through January 19th. And then for athletics, visit rcroadrunners.com to check out the athletic department of the most prestigious athletic program in New Jersey community colleges, with over 50 national championships, individual and team. Another spin. St. Peter's clearing this one with Caulfield. Lots of sticks going back and forth here, specifically with Kislick and Fisher. Along the near side of the boards, it's Kislick again. Couldn't get anything to go that time. Near side, left side for St. Peter's. Man down. They'll hang on to it here. Another handful of shoves between Kislick and McKeon. Left side. Right along the GC boards as they were making the shift change. This one goes back to McKeon, the defenseman. Now a chance over the middle, but GC clears it, not for long. Here comes a shot blocked by Kislick. Now on the left side, shot up and well high. This one will roll right to Wolkenhauer, picks it up with the stick, lets it go for Campione. 3 minutes to play in the third period. Gloucester Catholic would improve to 1-1 with a win, going into their matchup versus Bergen Catholic tomorrow in the afternoon. Same time, same place. Just a different group of commentators. It'll be myself and Javier Harris on the call tomorrow. Now on the right side, working through it. Man down, not for long. Back to Burns. Burns has 2 goals today. Man down for St. Peter's, crashes into the boards, backside, sticks are up, goes back to Campione, shoots it out of desperation, but it just waddles right to Cole Pastor. Now here comes a shot. He lost his stick. No, he didn't lose his stick while taking his shot, but it was St. Peter's. No, it looked like it was Pastor that lost the stick there briefly. Can't tell who lost it, but it is picked up. Just shoots between Geyser and Pastor. 2 minutes to play. Gloucester Catholic with a win would have their 7th straight head-to-head win over St. Peter's, dating back to 2019. Another handful of hits. Hit 6 ways from Sunday. He gets crashed in. A stick came out in the meantime. And now GC looking to drive this one up one more time. St. Peter's unable to field it cleanly. Now it goes back to Burinov. Looking for his second, couldn't go. Taken now by Shane Thornton, number 14. Haven't called his name tonight. Left side, Burinov, another chance. Minute 15. Wrapping around the boards. Thornton is there. It's back to Pastor on the blue line. Left side, coast to coast. Couldn't let it go cleanly. A lot of players slipping here at the end of this third period. Getting checked a couple times here as well. Gloucester Catholic can now try to run out the clock and try to avoid making the same mistakes that they did versus Princeton Day. But again, as much as we mention the Princeton Day game almost like an omen or like something like a broken record, that did happen over the course of 9 minutes, not 45 seconds. 40 seconds now, St. Peter's. Again, after tonight, this will be the last time they've traveled in quite some time as that one wraps over and out of the playing area over the net. We did mention St. Peter's Prep. They'll be headed on the buses back to Jersey City tonight, but they will be at home for the next 3 matches. Oratory Prep on the 15th, Xavier of New York on the 18th, and Pope John on the 19th. That puck drop versus Pope John, 8 p.m. That's late. That's like Monday Night Football late, but it's something that Vince, he's a hockey player. He knows late puck drops very well on these kinds of rinks. I believe Vince was talking about, well, he played club ice hockey for Cherry Hill East. He was saying he had puck drops as late as 9:30 at some point. I couldn't do that. I already complain about the fact that the Eagles game on Monday started at 8:30 and not at 7. A whiff by St. Peter's. 20 seconds on the clock. Couldn't get anything there, but now it shoots through the traffic. Geyser couldn't get there. He dives in front of it and gets the save. Now it's on the right side. Trying to shoot through it. A long-range shot by Stampley. Couldn't go. We're back down to 6 seconds. Gloucester Catholic should let this one go. St. Peter's has one last chance, and the Rams will have their first win of the 25-26 campaign, a 6-1 victory over St. Peter's Prep. Their 7th straight head-to-head win over the boys from Jersey City. And St. Peter's falls to 0-2, and a celebration in front of the goal as a near shutout for Richie Geyser coming back from an injury on Monday in the 7-5 loss after a heartbreaker on Tuesday night. They come back 8 days later. They were originally supposed to play St. Augustine on Thursday. That game got called off, so the Rams have been waiting a little while, and despite the tensions in this game, we will have our center ice handshake, and then we'll get ready for our player of the game Chase, I think even despite the goal allowed, I mean, I'm not sure whether to give it to Geyser. Well, I mean, let's think about it this way. Every NHL team does the 3 stars of the game. Why don't we do that? We haven't done that before. So I'll give this. My first star of the game goes to Cole Burns. Those 2 goals that he had were fantastic, including the second one where he was basically diving in front of the puck to get that one in. That would be my first. My second would go to Richie Geyser for having a near shutout and the ability to really come back from his injury and be able to really shine. And again, that one goal that he allowed was super late, and it was on different circumstances. I'll give him credit for that. And then the third star of the game, because you typically give one to the team that fell, I would give it to the goal scorer, Gianni Lauricchio. He got called, and he got put in the penalty box for that fight that happened in the first period. He was able to come back, get that first goal, and the only goal for St. Peter's in what will be a 6-1 loss. So let's be right back. We'll try to talk with Cole Burns. If we're unable to catch Cole Burns, we will end the broadcast. So we will be back in about 5-10 minutes.
Welcome back here from the Hollydale Ice Arena. We're here with Gloucester Catholic head coach Mike Geary. Mike, this is your first win of the 25-26 season, and this was kind of a relieving win over a St. Peter's team that you historically have had a good record against, but after last week's game, you needed a good rebound. How did you feel about your team's performance today?
I thought everybody, including the freshmen all the way up to the seniors, played all 3 periods. That's what really led to the execution and the win today. Everybody played with grit, played with heart, and we were able to get the job done out of all 3 periods and get the win.
In a game as physical as this, where there were a lot more penalties than there were in the Princeton Day game, you sent a lot of players to the penalty box. How were you able to get around that with all the power play kills that you were able to get, and then being able to score on 2 power play goals for St. Peter's Prep? How did you feel about how your team rebounded from all the penalties received today?
I thought they rebounded very well, and I think that was the message before the locker room. I said, we're playing St. Peter's. This isn't a team we can take lightly. They're one of the most physical teams within the Gordon, and especially with the freshman and sophomore class, they know that going into it. But when their number's called during that PK or power play time, it's time to shine.
And for you, of course, this is a good start to the year. Obviously, you would have liked to have last week back over Princeton Day, but we were mentioning it like a broken record. But now it feels like that's almost behind you because you have a tough game. Bergen Catholic, the team that also, I believe, won 4 or 5 games last year. It's going to be nice, equal matchup hockey this week for you. How does this win motivate your team or rejuvenate your team going into tomorrow's home matchup?
I think it's huge, especially Bergen Catholic having our number last year. A lot of us were going through sicknesses last year when we dealt with that loss. And so to have their number rebounding, we're looking forward to it, especially coming off a huge win with St. Peter's. That leads to motivation and encouragement going into tomorrow's game. So I think everyone's going to come in with the right mental mindset going into tomorrow's preparation against Bergen Catholic.
Mike, thank you very much. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you
we'll
so
see you
much.
tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And we'll hand that headset to our man over there, Cole Burns.
Burnsy, you're up.
He started to walk away. The interview was taking too long, and we do have the wipes. You're gonna look up at the camera. We're live because we don't have time to transition things. But Cole, this was a great game for you guys in the Rams. 2 goals for you, 6 goals total, 5 different goals scored. This was just a massive team effort. How did you feel about your performance today?
I think I did pretty good. As a team, we did even better. So
I'll tell you this, Cole. Last week was a heartbreaker. 4-1 lead. Gave it away. Obviously, can't help it too much because Geyser was hurt for most of it, and we didn't know it until the game was already tied. But you and your team seemed to look a lot better today. And you hadn't played in 8 days. You were supposed to play St. Augustine. That got called off. And having back-to-back home games 8 days apart leaves a little bit of room for things to start to trickle back. So how did you feel your team rebounded from last week's loss to improve in this game?
Well, we had a couple practices between the 2 games, so we stayed on our game and did fine.
And after 8 days of no action, no games, I should say, yes, you practice, but games are a whole different ball game. You have back-to-back, Bergen Catholic tomorrow, 1 more sleep, and then you guys get to play another team that finished towards the bottom of the Gordon Conference last year, but now seems to have pretty much equal strength to what you guys have at Gloucester Catholic. How do you feel with your confidence with Gloucester Catholic going into tomorrow's matchup versus Bergen?
I feel great. I think we're going to do pretty good against them.
Cole, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck tomorrow.
Yep.
That'll be all for us tonight on DWB. Vince has the headset. I'm going to hand him the wipes because we know that we need them. Folks, thanks for tuning in. This was our first Gloucester Catholic ice hockey game that ended in a GC win. We did one last year, but they beat St. Peter's last year 6-3. So it'll be interesting to see how this season evolves for us. But we don't have a whole lot of time to turn around because we'll be back on the air, same place, same time tomorrow with a 3:05 puck drop between the Bergen Catholic Crusaders and the Gloucester Catholic Rams. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphic crew, Gavin Van Rel, Carson Rosso, and Fisher Giannetti, my color commentator, Chase Parson, my producer, Vincent Folks, I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll be back on the air same time in about 22 hours here from the Hollydale Ice Arena. Have a good one, folks. Gloucester Catholic wins 6-1.